Welcome back, everybody. We are back on Magnetos, and this is usually what you'll find on an old engine that you buy. I usually take a rag or something and hold this gear to get this off. On this one, I had to get a pipe wrench and hold the gear to get this off. I bought this Magneto up in Portland, Indiana at the engine show, and most of the time you'll have to knock these off, and we'll put this in electrolysis and clean it up. These little flip top oilers are almost always they've lost their spring, so we'll just get it out of there. It ain't no good to us. These John Deere Magnetos are really simple. They're not hard to work on. Most of the time, the base and these end covers here are cracked or deteriorated, and you can buy replacements. Really nice reproductions, I may add. And when you pull this off, there should have been a little spring. I'll show you one here. This is what should have been in there. Well, not like that one. I don't know what that is on the end of there though, but it should have had something like that in there. And usually these break right here in the corner, like this one did. This one doesn't look too bad. We'll fix that. Sometimes you'll have to take out this little key here to get this to go through, and then again sometimes you don't have to. This one coming out really nice, and that's what we have, which this is your coil. A lot of times these shafts will be loose, like this one. See how it's loose there? You have to fix that, because when that engine hits and that piston goes back, you always get this, and all that's going to do is get worse. This actually looks pretty good condition wise, and we'll have to clean all this up, get all this old nasty rust and grease off of there and all this corrosion, because this spins inside of here like so, and every time these come around and hit that magnet, that's what gives you that spark or that energize. So a really good connection right here onto these magnets is important. You can improve your spark by just cleaning up your Magneto. And we do have pretty good magnetism on this one. I actually have to force it off of the magnet, and that's what you want. You don't want one that it's really easy to get off. The base on this one, the threads look really, really good. There's no cracks or anything. Most likely this Magneto was in the dry, and it wasn't overly hot, I'd say. But if you look in there, you see how that rust, I don't know if y'all can see it in there, but right here on this metal part, all this right here is pot metal, but on this metal part there's a lot of rust, so we'll have to clean that off, because like I said, this part and this part work hand in hand. And if you observe how clean it is right here on the top, that lets us know that this Magneto is not been abused. Wherever this was, there was minimum moisture and it didn't get real hot because this pot metal don't like a lot of heat, cold heat, moisture, and all that. While we're talking about magnetos, a lot of times you'll take one off an engine, and this is what you get, because someone at some point turned the engine and the magneto was stuck inside the housing. And there's not much, I mean, it's thousands of, it's not a lot, as that turns in there. If there gets anything in between these two poles here, and these are magnets, so of course any type of shavings or anything are going to be attracted to the magnet. So, and then someone turns the engine at an auction sale or just whatever, and it pushes like so, because there's nothing in there to give. So this pot metal is the weakest point, and that's what gives. And when you get a crack in this pot metal, it's only a matter of time before it just spreads. Everything I'm holding in my hand right here is pretty much trash except the band, and there's really no reason to keep it either. So, I mean, you could maybe rig this up to where it would work on the engine, but I just don't see the point. By the time you put all that time and effort into JB Weld or whatever other type of glue you choose, you got too much time in it, because it's just going to fail again down the road. These screws here that hold on this band are usually in there pretty good. It's very important that you get the right screwdriver to fit into that hole, or you will strip that out. I even a lot of times will take something and clean out the grooves, because, and you see how much rust was in that groove there, and that's not going to let your screwdriver get down in there good. So you clean them out, and I'll even sometimes let them soak in PB Blaster or something, because they're hard to get out. And if you ever strip one out and try to get it out, it's even harder. It can be done, and sometimes, you know, you just know it's not going to come out. So and this is some type of spring metal or something that John Deere used. And we'll have to look into them threads, and you see how much dirt and rust was under that band. It'd be a disservice to this magneto to not take this band off and clean all that up. It's just, you have to do it. Well, you don't have to, but you should. And we'll take this magnet over to Dad's and give it the best charge in the world. These are a special type screw. They're different. You can find them, but it takes a little time to find a replacement. I'll clean these up and file on them and get all them marks off there where somebody slipped their screwdriver. And most of the time that slippage of that screwdriver is because you don't have the right size for the right screw you're trying to get out. Believe me, I've stripped out enough to know how and why it happens. After you strip out a lot of them, you tend to try to find the right screwdriver before you get started. I will put this back together on camera. It won't be today because I got some stuff to electrolysis, and I usually soak this base and that end piece there in some lacquer thinner and clean them up. So that's what our band looks like. And again, we got more years of just nasty dirt, rust, and whatever else. So at this point, what I'll do is I'll set this down into a bucket of lacquer thinner after I scrape on it a whole bunch and scrape all this excess loose rust off of it. If you don't do that and you stick it down on lacquer thinner, you pretty much dirtied your lacquer thinner right off the bat, and it's not cheap. Not cheap. It has went down. It went up for a while. It was like $18 for one of these, and now it's back down to 12 something at Walmart. So it takes me. I use about a can of that right there on each engine. So when I'm rebuilding the engine, I just go ahead and price in there a whole can of it at that $12 and $12.88 or $12 something. I do have a Magneto coming in the mail to rebuild, and hopefully I'll find time to take that apart on camera. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this, the side cover, and all the little screws there, the coil, and the gear with the nut, and this lock washer, which we'll put a new lock washer on there, and this band, and we're going to clean all this up and go recharge this magnet. I usually paint these magnets semi-gloss black, and I usually paint the base and the end cover silver. Rust-Oleum. Most of the time I'll paint up this gear too a little bit, not here or the teeth, just here and here on the inside, to try to help it not rust when somebody takes it apart 50 years or 100 years from now. If anybody's thinking about igniters, I have not put this igniter back together. I haven't replaced the points yet. All I've done is clean it up and put just a coat of paint on there. I have two of them that I'm going to have to get to, so I plan on doing a video on that also. If anybody has any questions on these Magnetos, leave me a question and I'll try to answer it whenever I put this one back together. Thanks for watching.